What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I'm the Hans TV, and welcome back to the only subreddit that makes you wonder why some people decided to post their stories in the first place. It's r/am I the butthole. Our first post for today comes from Jalestai. AITA for asking my dad to leave me and my boyfriend alone? I, 19-year-old female, had my boyfriend over to study and do homework last night. We were working in my mom's study with the door closed because our house can be loud. My dad came in 5 or 6 times to look for a book, just to move papers around, grab something off the printers. My mom wasn't home yet, and I don't think he would have done that if she were home. I went downstairs to ask him to stop. He and my brother, who's 17, were playing video games. My older sister, 21, was in the kitchen, and I asked my dad if I could talk to him. I told him it wasn't fair that he was hovering, especially because he never does that to Jason, my brother, when his girlfriend is here and they are hanging out in the basement. He said he knows they're just watching movies and hanging out. I said, well, we are just studying. And my dad said he wasn't wrong for wanting to keep an eye on my boyfriend around his baby girl. I told him I'm not a little girl anymore, and he looked hurt. My older sister made me laugh when she pretended to stick a mic in my dad's face and said, "Inquiring minds want to know how it feels to be called out in an obviously sexist double standard." He told my sister to get away from him and said that he'd feel better about us studying up there when mom gets home. 2 more instances of him coming in randomly, and we just decided to head back to school early. He seemed disappointed that we were leaving and asked us to stay, but we really needed a better space. AITA for asking my dad for privacy and then leaving when he couldn't give that? First things first. No, you are not the butthole. Then, you're 19 years old. You are a legal adult. You can do whatever you want with your boyfriend whenever you want to. I get that there are some times that your dad, like if you live in his house or whatever, that he can have rules, but if he gives you rules, those same rules should extend to his son who's 17. And yeah, there is a double standard there because he's checking in on you and your boyfriend, but not a 17-year-old dude and a girlfriend in the dark, alone, downstairs. So no, you're not the butthole. Your dad is. Our next post comes from The Omelet. AITA for refusing to make any more meals for my girlfriend after she kept complaining about my cooking. Things have been great with my girlfriend for the most part. We, 28 female and 26-year-old male, have been together for 4 years and living together for 2. Lately, there's been some tension, so I feel like maybe that's why things may have boiled over. We both work a lot, so we have both been very cranky and moody, especially my girlfriend, who's snapped at me a few times and been in a really bad mood. For the past few days, what's really set her off is my cooking. I'm usually the one making breakfast, packing our lunches, and dinner. Literally anytime I've been at the stove, she complains about how bad the smell is and gives me crap about using stuff that has obviously gone bad, according to her. Or saying it tastes like garbage, won't even finish eating it. This has pissed me off. I'm not a chef, but I do pride myself in my cooking, and she's talking about how bad my food is. I've had my coworkers try my lunch and they tell me it tastes just fine. I figured with all the stress she's under at work, she probably needs an outlet to let out her frustration. And maybe that's why she's giving me crap about simple things. I don't know. But I snapped a little this morning when again she complained about the omelet I was making us. So I actually dumped the eggs in the trash. Told her she can make her own damn breakfast for herself. Then, and I'm not cooking for her anymore if she's gonna keep acting spoiled about what I make. We ended up having an argument over this and we left for work mad. Anyway, my girlfriend didn't come home and her sister called me. My girlfriend's mad at me, and her sister thought I was being a dick for acting so immaturely by refusing to cook for her anymore when I know she works a lot. So sometimes she doesn't have the time to prep her own meals. I don't know why this was turned into a bigger deal, but here I am sitting at home wondering if I was being a butthole for losing my cool and telling her I'm not cooking for her. I just didn't think it's fair for her to be talking crap about my cooking when she never has before, and thought, well, if she doesn't like it, then she can take over the kitchen. Was I a butthole? So I had a thought as I was reading this, especially whenever he said that she was telling him that it smells like garbage. From what I understand, whenever you're pregnant, your sense of smell becomes very, very acute. And a lot of people in the comments seem to agree with that sentiment. They said, like, I saw a lot of people saying, "Are you sure your girlfriend's not pregnant?" Which that could be the case. Mood swings, all that other stuff. You might want to get that tested, buddy. And I mean, if it is true, congratulations. If it's not, you and your girlfriend need to have a really long talk about what's going to happen. Oh, but also, not the butthole. You've been cooking for her for a long time, and she's never done it once from what you've said. So if she doesn't like your cooking, she can cook for herself. Like, you're not there to pander to her every whim. You're there to be her boyfriend. This next post comes from OverNeedleWorker98. AITA for telling my mom I'd make her homeless if she didn't leave my wife alone. I'm a 27-year-old male, and I've had my mother, who's 48, living in my house since September of 2020. My wife, who's also 27, gave birth 2 months ago to my son. Ever since my wife and I got married, my mother would make snide remarks at my wife. I was too much of a coward to call it out at first, but I believed, for a while, that it had officially stopped, besides the unnecessary comment here and there. I stand up for my wife all the time. It's just that for the first year and a half of our relationship, I did cower away. I was afraid to lose my family, but the only family I needed was my wife. My family and I had a very busy schedules, so even though we lived together and were married, we rarely saw each other. She loved her job, but I made the selfish decision to ask her to leave it. She was hesitant, but agreed to it. She still makes money from her small business, but she obviously is now a stay-at-home mom. We mutually agreed, and she is very happy. My mother ended up losing her home a couple months back. I lived the closest and have the biggest home, 10-bedroom, so she came to us. My mother keeps making comments like, "She needs a job. She's going to drain you of money." My wife would also come up to me and tell me not to say anything to my mother, that my mother needs somewhere to stay and that she, my wife, can handle it. I've been online conferences for the last 2 weeks, so I haven't had much time to spend with my son. For the past 3 days, I haven't had any calls or work to do, so I've been telling my wife to stay in bed and rest so I can look after our son. Yesterday, my wife was asleep in bed when my mother started screaming through our bedroom door, banging on it, calling my wife every name under the sun. When I ran into the corridor, she was screaming like a lunatic. My dogs, Blue Bay Shepherd and Siberian Husky, obviously got very defensive and barked her into a corner. I got into my bedroom and my wife was in the corner of the room crying with her head down. She was terrified. I ran to my mother and said that I'm going to kick her old ass to the curb. She wailed that I couldn't do that, but I screamed at her and told her to remember whose house she was in. She started to cry and I told her to pack up and get up by tomorrow. She started screaming, saying she had nowhere to go. I said that she could stay, but if she even looked to wife's direction, I'd kick her onto the street. Now my siblings are saying I'm the butthole and that I was too aggressive. I say that's total BS, because how else was I supposed to react to seeing my wife terrified and scared in a corner? I told them to take her, but they say they don't want her stressing them out. The only reason I think I might be the a-hole is because she seems scared when I yelled at her. That and because my wife is saying that she doesn't want my family to be mad at her. But I don't care. Now my mother is telling everyone that my wife and I ganged up on her. The only reason I haven't dragged her out yet is because my wife says not to. AITA update. She went for a walk, so I grabbed her stuff and threw it in a suitcase and put it outside. My wife is currently cutting with our son in bed. Told my brother that if he doesn't get her, she'll be spending the night outside of our padlock secured gate. My wife has no idea. So your mom is perfectly fine with yelling at your wife and your newborn son through a door, but the moment she starts to get yelled at, "Oh no, poor pitiful me." If you can't take what you're dishing out, then don't dish it out. Also, your siblings are freaking hypocrites. "Oh, I don't want her because she'll stress me out." Yeah, I have a 2-month-old son. I'm stressed out already. I don't want to take care of my mom, but you're making me do it because you're too weak-minded to be able to do this. So no, OP, you are not the a-hole. Your family is, and you did right in kicking her out. She does not deserve to be around them if she's going to act like that. This next post comes from a throwaway account. AITA for lashing out on my husband for his reaction to our baby gender reveal. So I'm a 29-year-old female and my husband is 33. We've been married for 2 years. I'm now pregnant. First time, and it's been difficult. I have anemia, but I'm getting treatment. We went for the doctor's appointment to find out the gender of our baby. My husband was excited, although he repeatedly said he guaranteed it was a boy with no evidence to back it up. We entered the doctor's office and he didn't stop feeling nervous, which was making me nervous too. Once the doctor said it was a girl, my husband's face went red. He stared at the doctor, then started asking if she was sure 15 times. He asked if she was sure this wasn't a recording footage of her previous patient, which made me feel embarrassed because this was a dumb question. He has zero idea how ultrasound works. The doctor laughed, but he asked her to check again and even tried to act smart to point out that it's actually a boy, but the doctor got it wrong. I told him to stop, but he started lashing out blatantly, saying he wasn't expecting this and was in fact disappointed with the results. I felt mad, especially after he told the doctor we will be seeing another doctor, then get back to her to tell her she got it wrong because he guaranteed it was a boy. I waited till we got home. I lashed at him and told him he had no right to speak to the doctor like that and waste her time by getting her to check repeatedly. I said he embarrassed me and he lashed back saying he has a right to express how he felt and that he was disappointed. We argued, then he went to call his mom to tell her, although I asked him to wait to do it together. I called him childish for immediately calling his mom and getting her to text me, like it's my fault. I told him I'm going to stay at my mom's for 2 days because this is too much. He asked, "How's it childish for me to call my mom and vent a little, but totally okay when you pack to go stay with your mom for 2 days?" I was speechless. What response could I possibly have for this? He started texting saying ultrasound wasn't a good idea, but he'll just wait till our baby's born to find out since tests can't be 100% sure anyway. He said he wasn't trying to blame me for being pregnant with a girl, but how I reacted to his reaction. He planned to have one kid and that's it. Preferably a boy, but it didn't happen, so he was disappointed. Again, argued that I overreacted and mishandled his gender disappointment. My sister said I was wrong because his reaction was understandable, and that he's free to express how he felt, so I shouldn't try to control his reaction. We're from Canada, by the way, if it's relevant. It's not. Not only is your husband a mega butthole in this situation, he is factually incorrect about how this works. Number one, you can't guarantee that it's going to be a boy or a girl. That's actually up to science. Also, it's not your fault that your baby is a girl. It's technically his, because the sperm is the thing that fertilizes the egg, which means that the DNA that's encoded actually comes from him. So his sperm decided it wanted to be a girl, gave it the X chromosome. There you go. Also, your husband is incredibly childish. Just because you want a boy doesn't mean you get one. If you have a baby, that is that. You get a boy, your girl, whatever it is, you get what you get. It's not up to you to decide what it is. It's not, oh, I want a boy, so it's going to be a boy. Oh, I want a girl, so it's going to be a girl. That's not how it works. So your husband is so biologically incompetent that he doesn't understand that he can't just will it into existence. You're not the butthole, but your husband sure is. Our final post for today is also from a throwaway account. AITA for not giving my coworker my paid time off. My coworker, who's 41, has 3 kids and has worked at this company for 17 years. I'm a 27-year-old female and am childless, and I've worked here for 5. We get 18 paid vacation days per year and unlimited sick days if we provide proof. The vacation days are added to your balance on January 1st and accumulate if you don't use them. We can give them to someone else. My coworker regularly takes a day or 2 every month or so. This year, she used 10 of her days in January when her brother died and another 4 when her daughter got sick. As a result, she only has 4 days for the rest of this year. I've been saving my days for a long vacation and have 44 days, so about 2 months worth saved up. My coworker's kids wanted her to take them on a 2-week vacation. The place they want to go is in our country, but pretty far away, so 4 days won't be enough. She wants me to give her 6 of my days. Her justification is that I'm childless and don't need that many days. We do get a lot of paid time off. I really want to go on a trip around Europe after the pandemic, and she says she needs a break more than me. She's kind of right. Maybe kids do make you extra tired. It's not her fault she had to use 14 vacation days in the first 2 months of the year. I told her that I can't give her my days. She's upset and says that it's my fault her kids' dreams are being crushed. Am I the butthole? Ooh, looks like we get a bit of entitled parents on our hands here. No, you're not the butthole. It's not your job nor your responsibility to make sure her kids are happy. You're saving up your days so that you can take vacation whenever the pandemic ends. So, no, you're not the butthole. She is for blaming you for the fact that her kid's day is being ruined. It's not your fault. It's not your responsibility. It's hers. I mean, I get that she had to use 14 days off, but she knew that. And I mean, oh well. Have fun. Good luck. Goodbye. Well, alright, my dashing dudes and darling dames, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/Am I the Butthole. I hope you liked the stories, and if you did, I'm going to link them in the description as always. And if you like the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below what would like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who's continuing to watch and subscribe to my channel, and comment on my videos. I cannot thank y'all for how much y'all do for this channel and how much y'all push it out. It really makes me excited to be able to do what I'm doing for you guys. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.